everybody! I'm here today to talk to you about safe distances when driving. This will be a simple driving lesson for beginners, so let's get right into the video. I'm probably going to try leaning forward for this video just to keep the light in the right position, because if I go like this, it's a little bit weird for you to watch, but mainly you're going to be listening to me. I will be driving around and demonstrating, but you don't really need to see the road that much. I'll probably turn the camera like this, but you don't really need to see the road that much. It's more about listening to me. So the first distance that we're going to go over is your following distance. The following distance is the distance between your car and the car in front of you. So if I'm driving, okay, let's just start driving over here. If I'm driving, then the distance between my car and the car in front of me is going to be my following distance, okay? Let's turn over here. Now, we measure following distance in a matter of seconds, because if you measure it in a matter of feet or meters or kilometers or whatever you want to do, any sort of distance measurement, then guess what? It's going to be more difficult to measure because you're moving, number one, and number two, that's going to differ depending on if you're on the highway or if you're on the road or so forth, okay? So we measure it in a matter of seconds because then it gives us a nice universal and easy to use measurement mode, okay? So what you want to do is look at the car in front of you and start counting when they pass a certain milestone. So basically, let's say the car in front of me passes a tree. I'm going to start counting from 0, not from 1. So let's say they pass it now. 0, 1, 2, 3, and I pass that same tree over there. That means that I have a 3-second following distance, okay? Now you want your following distance to be at least 2 to 3 seconds, or between 2 and 3 seconds, I should say, if the weather conditions or road conditions are ideal. So basically that means that, you know, and that's even true if you're driving on the highway, so it's a universal measurement mode. If it's a nice regular day like today, nothing on the road, no snow, no sun glaring in people's faces, no fog, no hail, no rain, no dirt on the roads, like no dirt roads, whatever the case is, you're looking for a 2 to 3 second following distance, okay? If it's raining or snowing or foggy or whatever it is, then you need to at least double that. So 4 to 6 seconds minimum. And if the weather conditions get even worse, then you need to go even further, 7, 8 seconds. Like I was driving to Thunder Bay one time, the fog was so bad that we were looking at like a 10 to 12 second following distance based on what I could barely even see, okay? Like it was unbelievable. So that's your following distance, a safe following distance for that matter. It's measured in a number of seconds, and you start counting based on milestones. You can count when a car passes a tree, a driveway, a pole, a post, whatever the case is. The next thing we're going to go over is your stopping distance. So basically, when you stop on the road, how far are you stopping behind the car in front of you, okay? This is true for stop signs, this is true for red lights, for just stop and go traffic, whatever the case is. So if there's a car in front of you and you're not moving, you're stopping, the best rule of thumb is you should be able to see their rear tires, okay? Now, obviously, if you have a slammed car, like a lowered car, I mean, if your car's raised up, or if the car in front of you is slammed or raised, or if it's a big truck, that's gonna differ. But if we're talking about average cars now, okay, average vehicles, you should stop to see their rear tires, okay? And then you can use that as a gauge, that if you end up driving a lowered car or something, you can use that as a gauge. So I'm gonna stop right here, and what I'm doing is I'm stopping, I'm coming to a stop, okay? I can see their rear tires nice and clearly in front of me. I would say, I don't know how many feet it is. It's hard to gauge. I mean, it's really hard to do that when you're in a car. I don't like using feet in a car. I like using reference points. But I would say there's, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 feet between us. Something maybe a little bit more. But as a rule of thumb, you want to be able to see that car's rear tires. The entire tire. Not just the bottom, not just the top, whatever. Like the entire, as much of the tire as is exposed to vision, that's what you want to see. I don't know if that makes much sense, but that's the rule of thumb for stopping behind a car, for a safe distance for stopping behind a car, okay? The last one that we're going to talk about is parking. I'm going to pull over for this. There's a car behind me. Just want to pull over. So when you're parking a car in a parking spot, you want to make sure that you are about 2 feet from the outer edge of the spot, okay? Now, it depends on the width of the spot and the size of your car, obviously. But you want to try and be about 2 feet from the outer edge of the spot, if possible. And this is taking into account you're driving a regular-sized car in a regular-sized parking spot. If your parking spot is a little bit tighter than usual, maybe it's 1 foot between the edges. If your car is a bit bigger than usual, maybe it's 1 foot. Okay, if you drive a super long pickup truck or a super long sort of SUV, like, I don't know, any sort of super extra long SUV, then maybe it's like sticking out as little as possible. But as a rule of thumb, with a regular car in a regular parking spot, you want to have about a 2 foot cushion from the edge of the parking spot, okay, as close as you can get. You want to basically be as centered as possible, and the average car in the average parking spot will allow you to have about 2 feet on either side. It's as simple as that. That's it. Those are safe distances when driving, a simple lesson for beginners. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.